Welcome to my channel. I'm Peachy and thank you for watching this week's Salute to Women's History Month. I hope you enjoy this little stroll through history and learn a little about these amazing women who have molded the times we live in. You may know today's spotlight or you may not. But that being said, let's go. Sara Baartman was said to be born in 1789, but the year is in question. Sara grew up on a colonial farm where her family most probably worked as servants. Her mother died when she was age 2, and her father, who was a cattle driver, died when she reached adolescence. Due to colonial expansion, the Dutch came into conflict with her colony. As a result, people were gradually absorbed into the labor system. When she was 16 years old, Sara's fiancé was murdered by Dutch colonists. Soon after, she was sold into slavery to a trader named Peter William Cesar, who took her to Cape Town, where she became a domestic servant to his brother. On October 29, 1810, Sara allegedly signed a contract with an English ship surgeon named William Dunlop, who was also a friend of Cesar, and his brother Hendrik. Apparently, the terms of her contract were that she would travel with Hendrik, Cesar, and Dunlop to England and Ireland to work as a domestic servant and be exhibited for entertainment purposes. She was to receive a portion of earnings from her exhibitions and be allowed to return to South Africa after 5 years. Two reasons made her signing appear dubious. The first is that she was illiterate and came from a culture tradition that did not write or keep records. Secondly, the Cesar families experienced financial woes, and it is suspected that they used Sara to earn money. Sara Baartman's large buttocks and unusual coloring made her the object of fascination by the colonial Europeans, who presumed that they were racially superior. Dunlop wanted Sara to come to London and become an oddity for display. She was taken to London, where she was displayed in a building in Piccadilly. Englishmen and women paid to see Sara's half-naked body displayed in a cage that was about 1.5 meters. She became an attraction for people from various parts of Europe. During her time with Dunlop and Hendrik Cesar, the campaign against slavery in Britain was in full swing, and as a result, the treatment of Baartman was called into question. Her employers were brought to trial but faced no real consequences. They produced a document that had allegedly been signed by Sara Baartman and her own testimony, which claimed that she was not being mistreated. Her contract was, however, amended, and she became entitled to better conditions, greater profit share, and warm clothes. After 4 years in London, in September 1814, she was transported from England to France, and upon arrival, Hendrik Cesar sold her to Roe, a man who showcased animals. He exhibited her around Paris and reaped financial benefits from the public's fascination with Sara's body. He began exhibiting her in a cage alongside a baby rhinoceros. Her trainer would order her to sit or stand in a similar way that circus animals were ordered. At times, Baartman was displayed almost completely naked, wearing little more than a tan loincloth, and she was only allowed that due to her insistence that she cover what was culturally sacred. She was nicknamed Hottentot Venus. Her constant display attracted the attention of George Cuvier, a naturalist. He asked Roe if he could allow Sara to be studied as a science specimen, to which Roe agreed. As from March 1815, Sara was studied by French anatomists, zoologists, and psychologists. Cuvier concluded that she was a link between animals and humans. Thus, Sara was used to help emphasize the stereotype that Africans were oversexed and a lesser race. Sara Baartman died in 1816 at the age of 26. It is unknown whether she died from alcoholism, smallpox, or pneumonia. Cuvier obtained her remains from local police and dissected her body. He made a plaster cast of her body, pickled her brain and genitals, and placed them in jars, which were placed on display at the Museum of Man until 1974. The story of Sara Baartman resurfaced in 1981 when Stephen Jay Gould, a paleontologist, wrote about her story in his book The Mismeasurement of Man, where he criticized racial science. Following the African National Congress's victory in the South African election, President Nelson Mandela requested that French government return the remains of Sara Baartman so that she could be laid to rest. The process took 8 years, as the French had to draft a carefully worded bill that would not allow other countries to claim treasures taken by the French. Finally, on the 6th of March 2002, Sara Baartman was brought back home to South Africa, where she was to be buried. On August 9, 2002, Women's Day, a public holiday in South Africa, Sara was buried in Hankey in the Eastern Cape province. Pretty interesting, right? There are some others you can check out here on the channel. Those boxes should pop up for you shortly. In the meantime, thank you for watching, and I hope I see you on the next installment. If you are so inclined, please make sure to like and subscribe so you can see when I post new content. Have a good morning, afternoon, or evening, whichever time you're watching this, and catch you on the next episode. Be safe out there. Bye for now.